Welcome to the Rock Newman Show from the campus of the historic Howard University, located in the nation's capital. I'm Rock Newman, and it is my desire to inspire you with personal stories of extraordinary achievement. Dick Gregory pulls no punches, ever. Not when he talks, not when he's telling jokes, not when he's addressing crowds at civil rights marches, and not today, as he joins us on the eve of receiving a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Welcome, Dick Gregory, to the Rock Newman Show.
Peace to you.
Before we start here, let me say something to my viewing audience. I want to disabuse anyone of an idea that this could possibly be a fully objective interview.
At all.
Let's break some rules here. I love this man and have loved this man since we started being friends back in 1976. With that said, let's get started.
Before that, when you called me for China, what was that, 76?
For China.
This was with the president.
Yes, that was I think 1976, okay. Absolutely.
We to get strange calls places.
I would like to start.
Let me just say this. John Lennon, I get a call. Never met him, never.
John Lennon.
Never cared for the music.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a call. He's in Holland, in a cave, him and Yoko, drugged out.
Yeah.
He said, every time I tell somebody, they say, call Dick Gregory. So I fly over. Yeah. And not until I was reading a book in London 3 months ago did I know where on the tapes, Yoko said after Dick Gregory came over to Holland and broke our diction, we never went back, and I didn't know that.
Wow.
I just go in,
wow,
leave it, and leave. And
wow.
So I've had a fun life.
You had a fun life. And you've met everybody in the world. I want to throw a few names at you before we really get into what we're going to do and have you to respond to them, if you would. Birthday's coming up very soon. Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Your remembrances, because you've been, the people I'm going to ask you about, you've had close personal relationships with. If you'd respond.
Country.
Country.
Country. Honest. Learned as he moved.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But there's been a lot of black folks like that, but nobody was there to feed them. He asked me one day, he said, tonight, after everybody go to bed around 3 o'clock, can I call you? I need to ask you something. Yeah. This is the Heights.
Yeah.
So I go down. My second language is profanity, and I thought that's what he wanted to talk about. And so he said, Dick, what's the mafia? Did you hear me?
What is the mafia?
Well, how would he know in Georgia, Atlanta?
Right, right.
That's what he asked. I said, well, those are the folks with the government going to kill you, because those are the changes you fixing to make. But he was that meek and humble. But you cannot know what he went through, because even Jesus didn't go through what he went through. You know what it's like? 3 o'clock in the morning, your phone rings. You have 4 children. And they say, we're fixing to blow the house up. And you run pick up 2, Coretta pick up 2. Now, them children have been watching your face ever since you've been on this planet, but they never seen that look.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Never seen that look.
Right.
Because the people who made the call, if you called the police or the fire, they're probably the ones that had the bomb. So what do? You know, with 2 children here and 2 children there, you can't explain nothing to them, but you better not go out that door. Right. That's what he went through.
Right.
And as a father of 10, black children, I couldn't even tell you what that experience is like, at all.
During the same time, died 3 years before Martin Luther King did, Malcolm X.
Yes.
I remember you saying one time, just in a conversation. I'm sitting there hearing you talk,
Yes.
and you talked about him, and you talked about his laugh. You talked about how funny he was.
Funny, 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 funny. Him and Richard Pryor had two things in common. And I'm not talking about funny.
Yeah.
They were so bashful you'd be uncomfortable.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was the most, to sit with Richard Pryor, I couldn't sit with Richard Pryor longer than 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
He looked down.
Yeah.
When that camera come on,
Yeah.
and Malcolm was the same way.
Really.
Malcolm sold me some wolf tickets. I'm playing the Basin Street East in New York. The phone rings. Dear Gregory, Brother Malcolm. Hey, champ, what's happening? Said, when you gonna come down to the mosque? I said, well, what time is it? He said 11:30. I said, well, send a car out here. I'll be ready at noon. Now here's the real Malcolm. So Malcolm said, I'll call you back. And Malcolm called back. He said, man, you can't come out to the mosque. 99% of your audience is white folks. I said, did you call me?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? You called me, I'm enjoying myself, got me a little whiskey over here, and, you know, eat me some pork chops, you understand? And you interrupt and tell me I can't come. Well, let me put it like this here. You sent a car for me and pick me up, and we're gonna take a picture, you and I standing in front of the mosque, holding Muhammad Speaks, and I want to see it on the cover of the newspaper. That was our introduction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No bean pies involved?
No, no, they cook some bean pies. See, the bean pies is a little mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they stand on the corner selling bean pies.
Yeah.
They never have but one.
Yeah.
You order 30, they run up the alley, come right back, and there it is. They don't get no grease on themselves. I never seen them eat one. You know. But no, Malcolm, my sadness with Malcolm was the way he was being tricked.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
And the same thing about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He didn't know that was Hoover, with all the trillion-dollar systems they have, and can forge anything. And they was forging letters to Malcolm, saying it was Elijah said, and they went for that.
Right.
Probably one of the most important things, when Malcolm called me the morning they killed him, 6 o'clock. He said, Brother Greg, I just want you to remind you that 1 o'clock today. I said, 1 o'clock, where? He said, I'm speaking. I said, oh, no. You taking this hit by yourself. I am not going to let the government get two for the price of one. And soon when I hang up, I'm calling Adam Powell and tell him, when you finish your sermon, have somebody drive you out of town, man, so you won't get weak and go by that.
Of all these years, I've never known that you spoke to Malcolm on the day that he died.
That morning.
Wow.
That morning. And wait a minute. And I said, I love you, man, so much. I had Lil, my wife.
Yes.
Now, I closed that night, that Sunday night. I got one more show to do. I had her book me into a college in Chicago at O'Hare Field, so I wouldn't get weak at the last minute and go by there.
Wow. You speak of Elijah Muhammad as you were talking about Malcolm X. Elijah, of course, had a great deal of influence on the next person I want to have a reflection by Dick
Yes,
Gregory on. And that's a guy by the name of Muhammad Ali.
Oh, Ali was, that's a class all by itself. No. They made Ali mad. Now, first, they didn't know what they was dealing with. The boxing industry is a bunch of thugs, a bunch of gangsters, will fix a fight in a minute. And they didn't know what they was getting their hands in, because in Louisville, Kentucky, he was controlled by 13 white businessmen. He didn't know about no black folk. 13 white businessmen. So when it came for time to him to go get his physical for the military, he was 4F.
Right.
So he was stupid. Now, if you've been around, you've seen him all over the world, one thing he wasn't was stupid.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
he was a childlike. He was, oh, you know him. He'd do tricks,
Yeah.
magic all day,
Yes.
all day,
Yes.
all day, just
Yes.
all day, you know. And so where they switched his head when he went with Malcolm, Elijah Muhammad, see, the split wasn't there. Malcolm would sit there to train him, you know, of how to be a good brother, not all the stuff that goes with the athletic stuff, you know. And so Malcolm, when his draft thing ran out, and he had to go back, and that's when they found him 1A, and that's where his life changed. I guess he didn't know white men had that kind of power.
Right. Right.
Had
Ali,
that-
you're referring to Ali.
Ali,
Yeah.
yeah. That first, I don't have to go to war,
Yeah.
and then second, if I have to go, I have no problem. But then second, after I hook up with some black men that ain't into drugs and the whole scene, that you can't control it.
Now I'm reclassified.
And then and that's when he went. But he had a lot of game in him. He had game, man. They made him more than a boxer.
Yes.
They made him more than an uneducated brother. Now, we talk about money. Wasn't that much money in the game when he came
Right.
through?
That's right.
No, wasn't that much money in the game at all. But it was his childlike, his love for just talking, not running away,
Yeah.
just
Standing up.
talking. And then the case go up to the Supreme Court. And then you start saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe I better get out my Christian bag and get over here with the Muslims, because you had all them white men said he was right.
Yeah.
All them white Christians and Jews said he was right. And that's what Ali. He didn't know they was throwing fights for him. He didn't know that. You know?
Last name I'm going to ask you about, somebody been fairly close to you for a long time.
Yes,
Lillian Gregory.
Lillian Gregory. I've been married to her 54 years. And the two things that have me sitting here now is Lillian Gregory and the Civil Rights Movement. My whole life changed. Just a little hoodlum who never went to jail because too scared to steal. You know? And but I never wanted much out of life. I didn't know there was much in life. You see, I didn't see no white folks in St. Louis where I lived, except the white folks that was bill collectors, and they wouldn't dare call your name. They tip easy. They're coming in to get the insurance money or get money. And so not till I went to work with my mother did I see real white folks. So at a young age, but I didn't understand that. See, if I took over America today, the first thing I'd do would make all black folks apologize to white folks. Because we mad at the wrong white folks. The white folks we mad at couldn't help us if they liked us. They had no power. We bought into the whiteness, and what they can do. Are we stupid enough to believe the Ku Klux Klan determined public policy? Are you crazy? The people that the public policy, we like them. The president of AT&T, all the folks that put all the major money things together. Those are white folks. And if you ain't got trillions of dollars in the bank, you can't be white. And if you're gonna figure out this whole cop thing, it ain't just some press conference and marching down the street. This is a mental thing. No intelligent, hear me, white boy would ever inspire to be a cop with all the opportunities white boys have. In America, unless his father was a cop, unless he's going to special training, you know, go beyond detective, go beyond the street, huh? You know, real cops don't show up when a crime's being committed. Real cops come after.
You said Lillian, your wife,
Yes.
and the civil rights movement are the two reasons that you're even here today.
Yes.
Let's go back to Lil for just a moment.
Okay.
How did she have an impact? What did she do? What did she bring
Well,
out of you?
I got her pregnant. And I had one of them mothers that said, no son of mine will get a woman pregnant and won't marry. She didn't say you had to stay with her. No, I said, hey, let's go. And let me tell you all I've been listening to. One of the best weddings you can have, if they're already pregnant, you don't have to go through that $80,000 dress. You don't have to go to the Bahamas, to the bridal suite. You just run by, get you some license, and get married. Met at the University of Chicago, and I was funny. I wasn't making them. I was making $10 a night. I was so funny. And I just kept laughing. Just you know, that's me. I didn't, you know. And then one day I said, look, if you want this to work, well, I don't care. I lived up to all the principles that I've been told. If you get a woman pregnant, you marry her.
Yeah.
I say, but you got more in this. So let me tell you how you make it work. If you want this to work, it's never been about love, it's can you be lovable. It's simple. 87% of everybody in America end up in a divorce. So we know that don't work. Yeah. I didn't know the other worked, but I knew whatever I've been watching all my life, it didn't work. And she heard me. And then as we got out here into the movement, I said, it's not about me and you. Here's how my life is controlled. When I married you, you had a child on the way. But had you had 10 children, and America said, come on, you drafted, I was gone. And when that white captain, because you wasn't controlled by black folks, said, take that heel, boy, they wouldn't ask me about my children. They didn't have phone systems like they had, but they wouldn't let me call home. If I do this for somebody, a system that done all these horrible things to me and black folks and all of that, and don't bat an eye, then I must be able to do this for the black folks that have gone through it.
Your daughter, Ayanna,
Yes.
has an incredible play. Struggle,
Yes.
the civil rights struggle.
Yes.
And I've been in the room, and there's been a hush that's come over
Yes.
the audience. And she talks about you and your time away and how you, as her father, also belonged very much to the world.
Yeah. We always had our phone listed, so all the dirty, nasty phone calls you would get, whoever's close to the phone, you pick it up. I remember my oldest son, but then he was like 2 weeks old, died. And it was all over the press. So I was down south with Medgar Evers. And he carried me to Memphis and put me on a late Delta flight. So I'm home and live, so one of the horrors is crib death. The baby was okay. And there's no way you can believe then, with a little research, that you didn't do something wrong. So she's going through all of that, and she holds this little blanket. And every time I couldn't talk to her. So the phone ring, and I pick it up. White dude say, you that nigger comedian, the rich one? I said, that's me. You Dick Gregory? That's me. He said, well, I just heard your son died. I'm glad. I said, I am too. I had him insured for $30 million, but would you say this to my wife? And that brought her out of it. When she heard that, she threw that blanket down and grabbed me. And I said, this is what it's about. It's not about our children. It's about moving this thing we will always be listed in the phone book, huh? The children will always walk down the street. If it's deaf is what it is, that's what it is. See, I owe my life to black folks. Let me tell you what I mean. When I started off being funny, I wasn't funny. I'm just, other than, you know, when you was in grade school and high school, I was the laugh of the party. And so black folk came to this little nightclub. I'm making $5 a night, 3 nights a week, and tolerated me until I got to be one of the funniest people on the planet. And they pushed me from that $5 nightclub all the way downtown where they couldn't afford to come see me. So I owe it to them. I owe it to them. My life, all the luxuries I've had in life, everywhere I've been, it was them little black folks back there that sit.
And recently, you were at the home of Oprah Winfrey.
Yes.
On what was called her Legends Weekend. Folks from the Civil Rights Movement.
Yeah.
John Lewis, so many others. Give us a glimpse of that day.
Well, it was overwhelmed because, you know, she gives you gifts. And they said when they had the women there, they gave them $25,000 earrings. So they passed all the men this little box out. And I opened it up and I said, let it be a rent check. No, it was fabulous. But it was the reason we were there.
Which was?
Selma, the movie, they're going to preview it.
Yeah.
And they was honoring us for, and which is very seldom for me when you've been a bad boy. There's no way that anybody that's been honored at the White House for changing something, I shouldn't be there. But I knew the price I say. This is my biggest surprise. That's
1,001 people
who made America.
Who made America. And Dick Gregory's in this book.
Yeah. And I said, wait a minute. They must have did some serious research to really know why I qualified. That goes back before the Mayflower. And so consequently, it was that movement to see people that's not afraid. See, I wasn't afraid after I learned how to be funny. In school, I just bullied my way through. Not bullied other people, just bullied. You better not mess with me. Juvenile gangs walked down the street and see me coming, they crossed over. You know? But it was that next move. I thought it was entertainment. I thought it was the money coming out this poor, nobody got no money, and wake up with all the money.
I put on Facebook and asked the question. I put your picture there.
Yes.
And said, what would you want to ask this man? More than one person said, if I read history right, this man was at the top zenith of the entertainment.
Making as much money as Frank Sinatra.
Entertainment industry. He was the hottest thing there. How in the world, why in the world would he give up that fortune and fame and give his life over to something where his life was in jeopardy and his income was reduced so dramatically?
Well, one, it's like if you could feel your hair grow, you go crazy. I didn't know what was waiting for me down here. I knew if I short of funds, I'd make a phone call. How many of those calls did you get? You know? And so it was about, not about dying. I was already dead. I couldn't be a whole person. I came through school system. Sumner High School, St. Louis, was built 125 years before I got there for 500 white children. When I got there, we got 8,000 black, and they haven't put one brick in the building. But they're gonna judge me by their standards. And so I would just walk the street all day Then I started running and running and running and running. And the longer I ran, the more people looked at me.
And when you say ran, in case anybody in my listening audience doesn't know, you're talking about running competitively also.
Yes.
You were on the track team.
I was on the track
Not only
team.
were you on the track team, you were outstanding.
I set the world's record in the high school mile, but I didn't get credit for it. Nah, let me tell you, I didn't know what my daddy was, didn't care. And just had fun. So when we go to the track meet, it's in Jefferson City. That's where the Negro School was. University of Missouri was in Columbia. You couldn't go there.
Right.
But now here's how silly white folks are. If you was born in Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, or Georgia, if that Negro state school didn't have a medical school, they had to pay you to send you anywhere in the world you wanted to go to medical school. Can you imagine you come out of a racist, segregated, bad school, Mississippi, and you end up at Howard Medical School or Harvard Medical School, and they down there in that little school. If you go around the world with a medical degree from Harvard or Howard, and I got one from Mississippi, who do you think gonna get the job? They didn't care.
Yeah.
They didn't care. And then I figured out something, especially with the cops. Why? I've been around white folks, whiter than white folks, and they Negroes. See, all the black folks you knew had the pleasure of growing up with you, in school with you, seeing you, They never saw nobody dark, All they saw was white folks. So I grew up not scared of white folks. We black folks didn't grow up not being afraid of white folks just from their physical view. I was scared of them from what I heard black folks telling me that they did. And then to get down there, every time I went to Mississippi, I knew I wouldn't come back. That's what fear do.
Yeah. Greg, let me ask you this. We talk about you being at the top of the entertainment industry and you get involved in the civil rights movement where you, obviously your income is dramatically reduced. Around that time, you were drinking, as you say in your books. You were drinking fifth liquor.
Never did a drug in my life. Wasn't no room left.
Smoking.
4-pack of cigarettes.
Somebody came in your life named Alvina Fulton.
Yes.
Quickly, if you
probably
tell
one
us
of
her
the
impact.
greatest nutritionists in the world.
Yeah.
Christian woman. Not that had to be for me.
Yeah.
But that was just her.
Mm-hmm.
Her. And there was nothing she could not do.
Yeah.
And just as kind and nice and peaceful. And see, I didn't know nothing about good. I thought good nutrition was whatever you like to eat didn't run out before you got enough. And if you like something, it ran out before you did, that was bad nutrition. I didn't know what she was talking about.
2014, 2015, you mentioned you were at Oprah's house for the Legends Weekend.
Yes.
It had to do with Selma. Did you guys preview the movie there?
We previewed the movie,
So you've seen the movie?
Yes.
Your thoughts on it, Selma?
Well,
the movie.
King wasn't in Selma. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
No. Why you think he wasn't on the bridge? He was taking care of business someplace else, man. That was some snicks. That's why you hear John Lewis. That's them snickerines, man. And one black woman named Amelia Boynton.
Amelia Boynton.
Okay? Now,
let me say this.
Yes.
I was doing a TV show recently. Andy Young was on that show.
Yes.
And there was the debate about whether Selma was King's idea or Johnson's idea, and Andy Young spoke up very forcefully said it was neither of them. It was not their idea. It was Amelia Boynton's idea.
Yeah, yeah. But let me tell you this. There's a big debate going on now. Did LBJ not get his rightful props? Let me tell you something. And then here's how you understand racism is so vicious. When I was a little boy, I'm 82 years old, we all knew that them Egyptian queens was black. So when I see the most gorgeous one, they said, it's Liz Taylor.
Yeah.
I didn't hear nobody debate that.
Yeah.
I'm 82 years old. I used to go to the movie and see cowboys, and their bullets would never run out. Didn't nobody debate. That's a movie. Huh? It's not a history book.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Not a documentary.
Okay? Now, for those of you that witnessed it, and those of you that's gonna see it, after it was over, I said to Oprah, I said, what do you think? I said, 10,000 years from now, this will still be selling. Why? When you hear the story of Jesus, you only hear what people want you to hear. He didn't have no brothers and sisters playing with. He disappeared when he was 12 years old, and there's nothing in the Bible where Mary was looking for him. Came back at 30, nobody asked him, where you been? Huh? You hear me?
Right.
So all we've been seeing now of the civil rights movement is I got a dream. And you can go around the world, and everybody know who King is, but ask him, what did he do? And they think of Bull Connor. They think of the hoses. Huh? They think of the fire truck with the hose. This one, Oprah Winfrey, was Jimmy Lee Jackson's mother.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Jimmy Lee Jackson's mother. Now watch this. One of the touching scenes in that movie is when they blew up the church.
Yes.
You know the trick about the church? The church wasn't in Selma. The church was in Birmingham at 15th Street Baptist Church.
Right.
So how is it white folks can slide history around, but when I get ready to do it, you tell me there ain't a movie no more. LBJ had nothing to do with that at all. Did it mean it wasn't a good movie? No, you know, it was there. We watched it, and let me tell you that when they attacked on the bridge was not a march for votes. It was in sympathy of Jimmy Lee Jackson. Huh? Jimmy Lee Jackson was a deacon. He's 34 years old. He would go down to the register, and they wouldn't let him vote. So he called James Orange, one of the King's #1 lieutenants, and just said, could you come in? James called me, and I said, yeah, man, my plane might be a little late getting in, because they told me when I made a connection out of Atlanta. So I got there when the fighting was over. State police, county police, city police. When James Orange got there, they immediately put him in jail. So Jimmy Lee Jackson went to church and called on the deacons to come march, just to sing and pray, church songs all night. All night. Just to let James Orange know we got your back. They're not going to take you out in the middle of the night and lynch you. Now, they wasn't going with no guns or nothing. So by the time they got down to the jail, the cops had shot all the street lights out and attacked them. I got there 30 minutes after it was over, and blood was just running down the street. But here's what happened. They grabbed Jimmy Lee Jackson's mother's father, which was his grandfather. Oh man, they beating him, and they break away and go into this convenience store, Negro, and they followed him in there. So naturally, they was whooping his grandfather so bad. That was his mother's dad. She went to pull him off, and they started whooping her, and he went to pull them off of her. They shot him 5 times.
So, Greg, you get there, and you're walking down the street and seeing literally, this is real. This ain't a movie.
Yes.
This ain't Memorex.
Yes.
This is live.
Yes.
You see blood in the street.
Flowing, just like you do on the.
If I could ask you to walk back to that moment, or those moments when you saw that.
You can't, because something happened worse than that.
Tell me.
Shot 5 times in the stomach.
Who?
Jimmy Lee Jackson.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they carried him? To jail with 5 bullets in him.
Yeah.
The next morning they carried him to jail. He died 4 days later. That's what the rumble was about. Mm-hmm. Huh? Mm-hmm. That's what the rumble was about. Huh? Mm-hmm. And so the march was in march of honor of Jimmy Lee. Mm-hmm. They was just marching to the bridge. They weren't going from Selma to Montgomery. Yeah. That's why the world wasn't there. The world didn't know the march was going on. The press knew. Mm-hmm. So when the press showed those pictures, it went around the world, then it became a worldwide movement.
Today, we see.
But wait, I didn't finish your question. When I got there, I was ready to die. You know, it's like me and you soldiers, man. Mm-hmm. Huh? I was ready to die. Yeah, where are they? Hey, they might be gone when you get there. Well, come on, let's go. Okay, I went there to die. I didn't go there to tell no jokes. Mm-hmm. I didn't go there to be no father. I went there for liberation, huh? And the problem in America that we black folks have, we never been liberated. We opt for education over liberation. George Washington beat up the British because he wanted the right to build a college?
We're talking, and so let me ask you, you said education over liberation.
Yes.
What's Dick Gregory's definition of liberation?
When you as free as you was the day you came out your mother's womb. When you can walk down the street and not be afraid of anything. When can you know all the rules is not for your children?
Knowing that I was going to talk to you today, I watched the news last night. The world is horrified of the killings in France. Approximately in the last week to 10 days, there have been 20 deaths. In Nigeria, 2,000.
But that shouldn't surprise you.
Or more.
I'm surprised you're surprised.
And what I want to ask you is, how do you help us understand, with all of your vast experiences, why it is when you juxtapose 20 people getting killed in France and 2,000 killed in Nigeria, and the world is focusing attention on these 20 and ignoring these 2,000? Tell us about that.
I do the same thing, man, until I broke out of it. Huh? I said, hey, man, I want you to come here, man, and look at this strong sister. You ever heard somebody say that? Mm-hmm. Strong black sister, huh? White boy never called that white woman strong. But I'm going to show you my beautiful brand new pickup truck. How is it my woman gets strong? And my pickup truck get beautiful. Here, black women in America is the only woman on the planet that's been programmed that she's ugly and she don't know it. Now, they'll get mad. I couldn't care less. Black men is the only man that's been programmed that my black woman is ugly. This is in here, huh? A black woman in America is the only woman on the planet that go to a place called a beauty parlor. Everything else in the world is called a hair salon. If I go to a dentist, somebody convince me something wrong with my teeth. If I go to the eye doctor, somebody convince me something's wrong with my eyes. I'm not aware of this at all, huh? Oh, they talk about the nigger thing, but don't nobody want to talk about the yellow thing. That's real, huh?
So long ago.
Yeah.
So long ago. You just used the word nigger. So long ago you wrote a book
Called nigger.
called Nigger.
Yes.
What message did you want to convey? What did you want the reader to get from that
Well,
book?
This happened later when they told gays to come out the closet, but tell me to go back in. They take nigger and go back in. Can you imagine? Now this is gonna blow you away. The way that N-word came up. If you live in Russia and you read that some cop calls you the N-word, so what's the N-word? It's the 14th letter in the American alphabet. What's wrong with them? Are they crazy? What's wrong with that? Huh? Here's what happened. O.J. Simpson trial, most white folks thought he was guilty. And the only reason he beat it, because he brought those big, powerful money lawyers in there, and they was able to go back and get all the dirt. And Mark Furman, when they stood in that courtroom and read documents that he filed, he's the lead homicide. Not just with that case, nigger, 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 nigger. And some white folks say, so this will never happen again, let's ban the word. Now what's shameful, do you know it wasn't one black person sitting in the room when that decision was made? Did you know that? That we're gonna use the word N-word.
Oh,
Did you know that? Is that scary?
Okay.
Can you imagine somebody tell the Jews that you can't use the word concentration camp no more?
Right.
Can you imagine that? And they buy it. Now, let me tell you something that happened, and those of you all that haven't, you should look it up. You should look it up, and here's what I mean. 3 weeks before Christmas, Sears and Roebuck had to apologize to the Jewish community. Did you know about that?
No.
They had their little rings and stuff out, their little Christmas baskets out, and they had a ring that fit this finger with a swastika on it. I haven't heard the Jewish Defamation League say, more people heard of this from me, and I held the paper up. So I said, wait a minute, something ain't right. So I knew it was a Jewish thing fixing to come down.
Okay.
I didn't know what or where, but nobody's talking about. And then the week before Hanukkah, Walgreens drugstore had to apologize for selling Hanukkah wrapping paper, and the woman bought it and looked in it, woven in that is swastikas.
Are you suggesting that the word is okay to use, the word nigger is okay to use, or that it shouldn't be used?
No, it can be used. We use everything else. Nigger, saying nigger ain't never gave me cancer. My mama died from pork chops. She had a stroke. Okay? That's how you flush stuff out. You flush it out and you put it there. Once I know I'm a drug addict, now I'm gonna flush it out. Okay? Something else we need to flush out too. I don't live in a community where you control your cops, you control your school, your education, your medicine, your schools. I live in a neighborhood. What's a neighborhood? A hood is something you put over your head when you're trying to hide something. That's what it's about. Again, I go back and say, is it okay to talk about concentration? And they say it in a different tone than we did. They say it in a different tone than what we do. We locked into it because we let it get inside of our head. One of the greatest things that have ever happened for young black folks, and their parents can't control what I'm fixing to say. Oh, work hard, stay out of trouble. Now, I know what you got in your head. I know you worked hard. You didn't just get there. I know you stayed out of trouble. Only white men will walk up to you and say, "You staying out of trouble, boy?" Huh? Did you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't care how much money, how many professors you got, how many PhDs you got, or you staying out of trouble, boy. And they don't have no Klan stuff on.
And that's how African American, especially men, that speaks to how African American men are being looked at. You live on 16th Street.
Yes.
In Northwest Washington.
Yes.
Another black man lives on 16th Street, Northwest Washington, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yes.
His name is Barack Hussein
Yes.
Obama.
Yes.
Has he been good for?
No. Yeah. Let me tell you what he's been able to do. Huh? You cannot tell a black child no more. Behave yourself, work hard, get a good education. He has all of that. And they couldn't treat him no worse if he was a mangy animal on death row waiting to be put to death. All that went out the window. Huh? All that went out. We got to see it. Huh? We got to see it. See a white woman shake her finger in his face. Huh?
Governor of Arizona.
Arizona. So what
Brewer.
does that do? It tells other folks you can do the same thing. Huh? You leave the door open. Snipers up on the roof. White boy, just keep coming. Huh? And so again, I'm saying, but here's what I love about it. And this is why we might not be able to save this country. Because the most low-life white person in America could say, "At least I ain't no nigger." Can't say that no more. Give me that word, boy. You can't say that no more. Look at the White House. So white folks started acting funny. They told him to his face, "Boy, 4 years. 4 years." So he ran them crazy the first 4. The second 4, they was real surprised. What happens to a mad dog when they can't take no more? Crazy dog. They go mad. Ain't nothing you can do to a mad dog but kill it. Okay? Now, let's say you are a little white child, 6 years old. Anywhere in the world. That means all your life, you've only seen a black person running the most powerful country in the world. Now, 2 more years, you'll be 8, right? So, the 8 years of your life, you've only known a black person. So now we have an election coming up, and a white person won. And you say, "I didn't know a white person could be president of the United States." See what that do to the mind? See what that do to the mind?
You say you, and I think you said this with some real seriousness.
Yeah.
That you don't know if we can save this country.
I don't know.
What do you
the bitterness,
what do you anticipate? What do you think might happen?
They gave us a preview in Ferguson. I'm just asking you a simple question. I hate to do this. What percentage of the American military are Americans? Have you ever thought about that?
No.
40%. The rest is 60%. Because they know they got to bring the troops out on them white folks, and they know white folks ain't going to shoot white folks. So they go all over the world and say, "Look, want citizenship? Just join the Army, join the Navy." That's what's going to come out on you.
So you are concerned, I don't know if afraid is the right word, that there could possibly be a pending Armageddon here in this country. Race war?
No. Do you know how many people who look like you, but most of them's passing,
Yeah.
but they loyalty? They better hope and pray they ain't no race war than all them white folks they thought was white. That's how the white folk ain't shooting. Hmm? No, it's not going to be that. They know it's coming. They see it. Hmm? Let's go back and look at the little youngster in Cleveland, Rice, that was killed.
Tamir Rice.
Did you see that on TV?
Yes.
When you leave here, go back and look at it again. It says, black man with a gun. Hmm? Might not be real. You saw one white police car show up, right? And that didn't bother you? A black man with a gun and only one police car show up? They'll get there late waiting to pick up the other 40. Okay? Now, look at the picture when he was out there playing in the park. You saw the top of his head and the tops of the roof. That came from a satellite. Hmm? Why are they shooting him on a satellite? Why did they have that camera on him? Did they know something? Huh? And then after the cop gets out and shoots, right? You don't see the picture continue. You don't see him hollering. You don't see him screaming. The next time you see him again, he's in that little green, red outfit, that little cute little face. Huh? How do we miss this? Hmm? How do we miss this? What does that mean to you?
I give up. I'm not trying to hurt you.
Okay. And the brother that put that out, Johnson, his sidekick. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
We saw them in the store where the police chief said it's armed robbery. How shoplifting become armed robbery? They ain't even got no gun. Hmm? All right? Go back and look at that picture, man. Huh? Quick before they change it.
So
He had on flip-flops.
I know.
In short pants. When he's laying on the ground, he got on Nike tennis. Yeah. They messed up. I got a copy of the original picture. It's June the 6th.
I know that we have viewers that are looking in here right now, and they are hearing this, and it's a bit far-fetched to think that they are not, that this is not resonating, because this is what we see all the time. I think they have a question and I have a question.
Yes.
What can we do to try to turn it around?
You're not qualified. You're not qualified.
Okay.
Huh? What could Hitler do to turn it around? When your wife or your girl gets 9 months pregnant, you can't abort. The baby gonna fall, if it means death, to the mother.
So for this country, you see impending doom?
No, I'm saying doom. I see which way it's going. Let me show you something here real quick. One of the most famous pictures in the history of the planet.
Lee Harvey Oswald with a rifle.
And a gun.
And yeah.
The gun they say he killed the cop with. This was the most powerful magazine in the world at the time. Went all over the world. Look at the gun and the rifle. Huh? Now, look at the body. Which way is the shadow going? Back?
Yes.
Now look at the nose. Which way is the shadow going?
Forward.
You can't lie on God's son.
Yeah.
That's a crop picture. Now look at the neck. It don't fit the body. They didn't just start doing this, man.
So this has been going on a long
You
time.
hear me? You see, you're looking at it.
Greg,
Now
we
wait, before that. There was a woman named Jean Dixon. Supposed to have been the #1 psychic in the world. You hear me? Had a column that went all over the world.
Jean Dixon.
Jean Dixon.
Very famous.
18 months before Kennedy got shot in Dallas. She did a column. I see dark clouds around JFK's head. Please, Mr. President, don't go to Dallas. This is 18 months before.
As unbelievable as this is, we've got 90 seconds. And if you can finish that, because I got a question I want to wrap up.
Finish this. Now we know that Jean Dixon was on Hoover's payroll, and 2 years to 18 months before they make a hit, they give it to her.
With 1 minute left, all that you've done, how does Dick Gregory want to be remembered when you leave this earth?
Oh, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. I know my place is already made. I don't know where it is. But I've had fun because my life changed. How did it change? Real quick, we marching. Light complected state trooper comes to me. He's black. Me and him drank together.
Yeah.
He said,
30 seconds. Okay.
tell King and them to cancel the march.
Yeah.
Because when y'all get up to 16th Street, they're going to block off the press. And there's 300 white men 2 blocks away. And so the next day I wink at him. Get in touch. No, we came to die. Okay. So we marching. We get to that street. We see everybody blocked off. And the sisters and the brothers is singing and praising God. And I saw these white men with this funny look on their face. They dropped their pickaxes, they dropped their rifles.
Greg, I've got to wrap up. It
what did they
seems
see?
to me,
They saw the Spirit of God.
as you talk about death, you have not been afraid to live. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining us
brother.
today, folks.